Don't let anyone block your view, because you are going to want to party with us and give us that thumbs up. We will try and provide that lift that you need to celebrate all that is Coon Rapids sports. Plant your flag. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. And Joe, we have a packed show again tonight.
A very full show. We have, especially boys basketball fans are going to be very happy. A lot of boys basketball highlights, a lot to get to. And it's amazing how quickly, we say this every year, every season, but especially the winter season always seems to go so incredibly quickly. And this year, more than any, because of the delays and not getting started until after the first of the year. But we're already coming down to crunch time.
You have to savor this season, too, because obviously we talk about it every week. We didn't think we'd be here. We didn't know for sure. And the fact that we're here and that everybody's playing and we're able to bring sports to everybody, that's great.
Boys hockey team, just one game this past week. It was on the outdoor rink, a special event on the CTN outdoor rink, I should say. Unfortunately, the Cardinals let one get away from them, lose to Spring Lake Park 8-4. Gave up a couple of shorthanded goals in the first period, and then a questionable major penalty called against them in the third when they had it back to 5-3, and then the Panthers able to score a couple of power play goals on that major penalty. So, I think it was closer than the 8-4 score, and they get to see him again next Saturday, an opportunity maybe to get some revenge. They have to go on the road. Next couple of games at Anoka and then at Spring Lake Park. As we talked about last week, this next stretch of games, really an opportunity for the boys hockey team to try and pick up a win, get a little bit of confidence, and they still have Maple Grove lurking on the schedule.
That's not easy as well.
No, absolutely not. But we'll see if they can get it done there at Anoka on Thursday and at Spring Lake Park on Saturday. Girls hockey team put themselves up against the best over the weekend, hosting the top-ranked Andover Huskies on Saturday. Andover came in at 9-0, and they'd only allowed 2 goals all season. Fighting Bluebirds would have their work cut out for them if they wanted to keep pace with the defending champs. No score until late in the first period. Sarah Kaiser feeds Madison Clough at the point. She shoots through the screen and into the top corner to get the Huskies on the board. 1-0 after 1. Andover cranks up the speed in the second. Tyra Turner races down the wing, cuts to the middle. Boucher makes a save, but Madeline Jurgensen at the back door to put home the rebound and double the lead. They had another late in the period on the power play. Boucher stops Clough's shot from the point, but Issa Gettle jumps on the rebound. Huskies take a 3-0 lead into the third period. Opening minute of the third, a lot of traffic out front. Gabby Krause is able to hammer it home. Huskies just seemed to get better as the game went on. Peyton Hemp weaving her way out of the corner and netting her 12th goal of the season. Hemp's goal, 4:20 into the period, made it 5-0. They add 2 more and finish with their 8th shutout of the season, 7-0 the final, and wow, are they good.
Yeah, and Peyton Hemp is really good. I know she's one of the better players in the state, and 7-0, could you say it could have been worse? Yeah, probably.
8 shutouts
that,
in 10 games,
I was just going to say that's incredible, and it's unfortunately that the Bluebirds couldn't get a goal and at least get an opportunity to get on the scoreboard. But you played the best in the state.
And there's no question. They proved that they are the best, and they are the best for a reason. You look at that, you say 8 shutouts in 10 games. They've only given up 2 goals all year long.
It's crazy. Both
were power play goals against Elk River, and one each time they played Elk River, both to Elk River's top player. But you look at it and you say, wow, their goaltending must be amazing. It's not about the goaltending.
No.
Their team defense is incredible.
Yep.
They only average 8 shots against and about 55 shots for per game. They're impressive, and it'll be interesting to see if they're able to go all the way and repeat as champions. They were supposed to play Osseo Park Center on Tuesday this week, but that game was postponed due to a COVID concern on the OPC side. They will be hosting Rogers on Saturday, and they will be at Anoka Spring Lake Park next Tuesday. Wrestling team has been very busy since last time we were here. On the 18th, they were hosting a couple of teams. Andover, they beat up on 57-15, but then facing the number 10 2A school in Princeton, they lost a tight one, 44-29. Timmy Horst continues to have a great start to his season after getting into the lineup due to an injury to Nick Lattery. Hunter Allen also went 2-0, and Alex Kowalczyk is had an amazing season to start as well. At 182, he was 2-0 with a pair of pins.
Well, on Saturday, the Cards travel to Centennial for another Northwest Suburban matchup. The Cards are gunning for the championship, and they dominated the Cougars to keep their undefeated conference record intact. We have highlights courtesy of the Centennial Sports Network, starting with Timmy Horst at 138. He continues his hot start to the season with another pin for the Cards. Demetrius Seals on the mat at 152. He's one of the Cardinals determined to get back to state tournament. He gets a pin against Centennial, improves his record to 12-3 on the year. Nice start. Hunter Allen earned himself the Wrestler of the Week honors with his performance last week. He picks his man up at 170, takes him to the mat, gets another pin after having 2 pins on Thursday. He has to share the WOW Award, though. Eli Madimba trailing in the third period at 170, but he gets the inside trip, takes his man straight to the mat to help win an 8-6 win to finish the week 3-0. Move to 182. Alex Kowalczyk continued his perfect, there you see the pin, his perfect start to the season with another pin. Armbar gets his man to the mat. Kowalczyk 15-0, and the most by pin. Cardinals cruise to a relatively easy 51-10 win.
Well, they added a couple more wins to the record on Tuesday this week, beating Irondale 42-37. They were down big about midway through, and I think it was like 6 out of 7 pins the end of the match. They got pins from both Riley Hargrave at 220 and Gavin Layton at heavyweight to get them that 42-37 win. And then they dominate against Matamidi, had 9 pins against the Zephyrs in a 54-21 win. And the big news on the night, Gavin Layton notching career victory number 100. So congratulations to the Cardinals heavyweight, and congratulations to the Cardinals as they remain undefeated to this point. And again, you talk about those teams that are lurking in front of them.
There are a few good ones.
They still have the Anoka Tornadoes ahead of them.
It's always a good match.
This is looks like it's going to be another one of those seasons as it was for years and years, where you always schedule Anoka Coon Rapids as the last match, because you know chances are it's going to be the winner of that match is going to be the Northwest Suburban champ.
Yeah, it's always exciting, and at times it's come down to the last match. At times Coon Rapids is dominated. At times Anoka is dominated. But this should be a good one again this year.
Well, the Cardinals are at Orono with Hutchinson on Thursday, and they will host Maple Grove and also Scott West on Saturday. Scott West, always a very strong AA school, so that will be a great challenge for them as well. The swimming and diving team continues to leave teams in its wake as it races towards a possible conference championship. Last week, it was the Centennial Cougars coming to the Northdale Middle School pool. It was another great test for this team, and they passed with flying colors. The Cardinals medley relay team started to meet with a win that was within a half second of the school record, and they increased their lead with a great 1-2 finish in the 200 freestyle. Tyler Schultz sets the pace with a win in 1 minute 51.20 seconds. Nick Melcha not far behind, finishing second. Matthew Screws finished fourth, so an early 22-8 lead for the home team. Up next, the 200 IM, and it's another 1-2 finish for Coon Rapids. Will Melcha cruises to the win in 2 minutes 2.89 seconds. Nate Larson takes second, and the lead continues to grow. Jack Simmer having a great season on the board for the Cardinals. This inward 1.5 helps him to another first-place finish. Simmer scores a 234.05 for the win. It's the depth that's making the difference for the Cardinals. Another great race in the 100 butterfly. Tyler Schultz gets his second blue ribbon of the night, getting to the wall in 54.08 seconds. Abba Mayanya takes second in 57.24. Cards lead 62-31 after 6 events. Cardinals already had the meet clinched when Brian Tran hit the water for the 100 breaststroke, but he blows the field away, finishing in 1 minute 1.18 seconds, 7 seconds ahead of the next swimmer. Cardinals coast to a 97-83 win.
It's exciting to get Doug's, Coach Donaldson's emails, because you can hear the excitement in his writing, and obviously, and they're really having a phenomenal season. And it's really good to see. He's built this program up. He's got more kids interested in coming out for swimming. And we did a meet earlier in the season. He said, if things go well, fingers crossed, there's a good chance they'll fight for the crown against Maple Grove.
And that meet is coming up on Saturday. They will host Andover on Thursday, and then they're at Maple Grove on Saturday, and that could determine the winner in the Northwest Suburban. It has been fun to see them having success.
Yes.
And as we've talked about in years past, they've always had a couple of guys that would go out there and win their races, but they needed those second, third place finishes, and now they're getting them, and they're winning big. The co-op with Totino Grace definitely helps. The Melsha brothers,
yes.
A couple of those Totino Grace swimmers that, it's great for everybody because they didn't have a high school team. They didn't have a high school team at Totino Grace that they could be a part of. So it allows them to swim for a high school team rather than swimming in club all season, which club swimming, in the off season is great. But during the season, you want to be able to swim for your school.
You do.
And in Minnesota State High School League events. So it's great that they get that opportunity. So it's just a win-win for everybody. And it's exciting to see it. And we'll be looking forward to seeing what we're able to talk about next week on Sportsnight
very
when
exciting.
it comes to them. Gymnastics team had a couple events since last we were here. On the 17th, they were at Park Center, put up a 111.35. That was on Wednesday while we were here. We had planned to do a webcast. Unfortunately, Park Center decided they did not want a crew there due to COVID restrictions. But Cassie Rushmeyer leading the team in just about every event. She was second place on the vault, second on the beam, third on the floor. Ada Drummy's return definitely helps the Cardinals as well. Yep. She was third place on the bars to lead them in that event. Cecilia O'Reilly was third place in the all-around with a 26.80. On Saturday, the Cardinals hosting an event for the first time this year, and they also get their first victory of the season. They post a 113.025, which is bests the Andover 105.55. Cassie Rushmeyer was first place in the vault and the beam. Ada Drummy right behind her at second place on the beam. Drummy also finished second on the bars. Cecilia O'Reilly was fourth place on the floor, and Cassie Rushmeyer was second place in the all-around. It was a double duel for the Cardinals on Saturday. They had Rogers Royals there as well. The Royals put up a 128.35, so that is bettering the Cardinals 113.025. Put some of the other girls on there as well. All the scores obviously the same in a double duel situation, but Cecilia O'Reilly was sixth place on the vault, one step behind Rushmeyer, who finished fifth. Rushmeyer was seventh place on the bars, Drummy sixth place on the beam, Rushmeyer sixth place on the floor, and O'Reilly was fifth place in the all-around as the Royals swept about places 1 through 5 in just about every event. They're pretty solid.
But it was nice to see the Cardinals get the first win.
The win. And
Absolutely.
again, it's most important really is, especially in an event like that, is seeing the improvement.
Absolutely.
Week to week, and they have been putting up. The numbers have been slowly crawling up. Not quite where they were hoping they would be. But as long as they're going up and not down, that's a positive.
They're going the right way. Well, the Cardinals only have a couple of meets left to finish the regular season. Then it's tournament time. As we shine the Sportsnight spotlight on the gymnastics team, they're thankful for the opportunity to be together competing, and they're looking to finish as strong as they can.
It's kind of weird because of COVID, but I think we are pushing through and making us doing best with what we can.
Like many winter sports, the gymnastics coaching staff had to scramble to adjust to all the new COVID protocols. But they knew it had to be done, and they knew any extra work would be well worth it.
I was like, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? Because we feel responsible for all these kids, so how in the world are we going to be able to keep these kids safe? But on the other hand, it's like, we can do this. We have to do this for the kids.
Distance learning kept the Cardinals from recruiting at the middle schools like they normally would, but they were able to get the numbers they needed. They also had a couple of key injuries to start the year, which meant the newer and younger athletes had to step up, and they clearly answered the call.
I think everyone's doing a great job. We have so many new girls stepping up, and people do not have a fear this year, which is amazing because they're just throwing skills that they wouldn't normally throw, and they're going on events that they normally wouldn't go on. So it's really exciting, and the coaches have been so positive and just supporting us and helping us through all of this, which is pretty amazing.
COVID has changed almost everything, including how the Cardinals approach their meets. While their scores haven't been where they want them to be, they know this season is about more than wins and losses.
Everything is a process, and we just have, if we're improving, I have to look at that it's been a slow process, but we are improving. And the kids, we're trying to keep them safe, and we're just trying to have them have fun.
The Cardinals know competing is a privilege, and in order to keep themselves on the mat, they need to watch out for themselves, their teammates, and everyone they come in contact with.
I think the biggest challenge is just the nervous feeling of COVID still existing, and we have to be very cautious about what we're doing and what we're like, even face masks 6 feet apart, sanitizing, washing. Like, I think that would be like one of the top things that scared me or made me worried, was just like, I don't have to think about myself, I have to think about others as well.
The last 11 months have tested everyone on the planet. Feelings of loneliness and isolation can be hard to handle, so they consider it a blessing to be able to be with this group on a daily basis.
I think just everyone's support. Everyone's so kind, everyone's so supporting, and everyone wants the best for each other. So all the teammates are lifting each other up and cheering for each other, and anytime someone's down, they'll go help them. It's just such a good team to be on.
Because of that, the Cardinals feel like winners just by being together, and they still hope to put some bigger numbers up. But as long as they can stay healthy and finish the schedule, they'll consider the season a success.
And I know that sounds cliche, but that is the reason that we're here, is to give them a positive experience during a very, very difficult, trying year.
Yeah, trying year is an
least.
understatement.
Yes.
Is an understatement, but it's so great, you know, especially when you see the kids, you can tell they're smiling behind that
Oh, yeah, they're
mask.
having a great time.
And it's so huge. And,
Love
you know,
it.
I know there's a lot of people out there who would like to have fewer restrictions, let the kids play as normal, lose the masks, all that. But, you know, I think from my perspective, the fact that we have sports is huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've talked to some friends in Illinois and some other areas of the country where they have nothing.
I know, it's great.
And it's so huge for the kids to be able to get that social interaction piece, to compete, to play those sports, you know, because it's such a short amount of time of your life, such a small piece when you get to compete in a sport you love, and it's over before you know it. And so for them to not have that last piece ripped away from them is great.
It really is, and you can in all sports you can see that the fact that they're being able to play and they're out there competing is what they want to do, and they're fortunate they're able to do it.
Well, they will be at Maple Grove. They're off for this whole week. They're not on the mat again until Wednesday, the 10th of March. They will be at Maple Grove, and then they will finish the season hosting the Blaine Bengals on Saturday, the 13th. Nordic ski team has been busy. Last week, Wednesday, Thursday, they did a tri-meet with Blaine and Champlain Park. First, it was the Classic on Wednesday. Boys finished in second place. You can see how close it was all across the board. Ryan Powley was second place. Josh Thoen was third. Aaron Casey sixth. Peyton Martinick in seventh. And Ricky Petrov finished in 20th place with a time of 20 seconds. Girls team finished in third, but you see right behind the Blaine Bengals. Champlain Park distancing themselves a little bit. But look who was number one overall. It was Lila Gilliard with a time of 23 minutes, 43 seconds. Zoe Hoagland and Issa Hoagland were 12th and 13th, respectively. Ava Kerr in 16th and Josie Ingvoldson in 18th. Then on Thursday, they did the freestyle portion of it just to prepare them for the Pursuit Championship, which happened at the beginning of this week. Cardinals boys 1 point out of first place and only 2 points ahead of Blaine. That's as close as you can get.
That's very competitive.
Josh Thoen second, Ryan Powley in third, Aaron Casey in fourth, Peyton Martinick in eighth, and Ricky Petrov finished in 20th with a time of 15:09. In parentheses, you see their pursuit times, which is really what the overall time was. Girls on Thursday finished in third place. Lila Gilliard, again, first place in the pursuit with a time of 38:20. Issa Hoagland and Zoe Hoagland finished 11th and 13th. Joey Ingvoldson in 16th and Ava Kerr in 17th place. On Monday, the boys took place in the Northwest Suburban Conference Championship pursuit. They had less than a half hour between the classic and freestyle portions of the race. Aaron Casey finished in 14th place, earned himself all conference honors. So did Josh Thoen, who finished 21st with a time of 21:09. In the parentheses, you can see their classic and freestyle finish places. Peyton Martinek was 38th place overall, Ryan Powley in 40th. I think it was 35th is the last all-conference spot, so Martinek just barely missing out on all-conference. Ricky Petrov finished in 53rd. Girls also had, their race was on Tuesday, same scenario, not much time between the two races. An 11th place finish in the Classic for Lila Gilliard, but a 7th place finish in the Freestyle, finishes 8th in the pursuit with a time of 23:25. Isa Hoagland was 35th, Zoe Hoagland in 53rd, Josie Ingvoldson in 62nd, and Ava Kerr finished in 66th. So a couple of all-conference finishes for both teams. They will have the Section 5 championships on Wednesday next week at Theodore Wirth. State championships will be on Friday the 12th up at Giants Ridge. Alpine ski team had its last regular season race on Thursday last week. Boys bumped up a spot to 11th.
Like to see it.
Still technically not qualifying as a team because they only have 2 competitors, but some better finishes for both Joe Van Norman and Mr. Bone in 74th place with a time of 1:42.81. The girls, one of their best finishes all year, finished 5th place overall. Emily Verbeek led the way with a 34th place finish. Casey Hafferman was in 47th, Shelby Robidoux in 49th, Olson was 53rd, and Staley finished right behind her in 54th. They will have sections on Tuesday next week, and then the state championships are on Wednesday the 10th. Both of those events are up at Giants Ridge in Bowabic. Well, the Cardinals, we're going to talk about basketball. And as we talked about at the beginning of the show, we have a lot of basketball, boys basketball highlights to talk about. Cardinals entered play last week coming off a big victory over Centennial, so they felt pretty good when they hosted the Anoka Tornadoes on Wednesday. Tornadoes were winless on the season, and several of their losses were by large margins. Cardinals knew this was an opportunity they could not let pass them by. Tight game early on. MJ Galima comes up with a big steal and races to the other end. He finishes with a flush. Galima had a dozen against Anoka. Cardinals trying to stretch the lead in the first, and they strike in transition. Long pass to Armanti Henry. He scores on the reverse layup. Coon Rapids up 15-10. Late in the half, defense turning to offense again. This time it's Henry jumping the passing lane, going in on the break. He scores plus the foul. Cardinals up 14 at the half. Defense is key for the Cardinals' success. Matthew Ellingson with the steal. Quick outlet to Elijah Smith on the break. Smith led all scorers in the game with 20 points. Cardinals broke the game open with a 21-0 run in the second half. 4 guys finished in double digits. Matthew Ellingson hits a 3-pointer, part of a 13-point effort for him. Cardinals cruise to a 76-42 win.
Well, the Cardinals felt good about their first back-to-back wins, but Friday's trip to Champlin Park presented a much greater challenge. The Rebels were undefeated and ranked number 1, and they showed why as they ran away with this one in the second half. Cardinals keeping pace for most part in the first half. Matthew Ellingson with a quick basket off the inbound. He was one of 4 Cardinals to finish in double digits. But the Rebels have so much talent. Good movement to find Dylan Gachaba. Underneath, he throws it down. Champlin Park had 3 dunks in the first half. Cardinals, they never back down. Armanti Henry with a good move to get to the lane, score off the glass. Henry had 15 and 6 boards. Nice move there by Armanti. We're going to go midway through the half. Cardinals able to get Jordan Doe open on the wing. He hits the 3-pointer, one of 3 from the beyond the arc in the first. Talk about players who've been playing well. MJ Galima had a big game against the Rebels. Good move to get to the basket. He gets the roll and the foul. MJ finished with 24 for the Cardinals. They trail by 10 at the half. But the Rebels start to run away in the second. Robert Fain with a steal. He gets it behind to Josh Strong behind the defense. An 11-0 run early in the second half helped them take control. Their defense and transition play was impressive. Another fast break and another dunk for Gachaba led to as much by 30 for Champlin Park on their way to a 95-76 win.
Well, the schedule didn't get any easier for the Cardinals when they returned home on Tuesday. Totino Grace came in at 9-2 and ranked 2nd in state in AAA. Cardinals put up a good fight, but in the end, the Eagles flew away with the victory. Totino Grace getting off to a good start. Tayson Chapman finding some room in the corner, hits a three. Eagles build the lead as high as 15 points in the first half. But the Cardinals never back down. MJ Gallimore had a great night. He takes this one coast to coast and finishes with the scoop. MJ led the team with a double-double, 18 points, 11 boards. Late in the first, Matthew Ellingson with a steal. He takes it on the run, finishes with the left hand. But the Cardinals just well behind at the break. Cardinals cutting into the lead in the second. Great move by Armonte Henry. Henry finished with 15 against Totino Grace. Eagles have a lot of weapons, and they were all firing against the Cardinals. C.J. O'Hara led their charge in the second. He had just 2 points in the first, but it finished with 14. Cardinals keep coming. Gallimore up court to Jordan Doe. He hands off to Elijah Smith. He gets the bucket and the foul, and the Cardinals back within 2 at 54-52. The Eagles respond with an 18-2 run to take control for good. And you know, Howie, they never gave up. They were down big. We had technical difficulties, lost our audio for a big chunk of that second half. For the big run when they got it back to within 2. And then we came back on, and all of a sudden it was Totino Grace running away with it again. And so maybe we should just cut the mics off every time.
Well, I heard there were complaints when we came back on air. But you know what? You're right. You touched on it. This team never gives up. It doesn't matter what the deficit is. This team continues to fight, and that's impressive. We saw both games, Champlin Park and Totino Grace. They're excellent, and they're always they're a tough matchup for anybody. Champlin Park, I think, you know, I've seen everybody in the state, but probably the best team in the state.
They are very, very good. But, you know, for the Cardinals to be down big to start, I mean, they were down 10, I think, at the break, and then it got back up to about 15, and then the Cardinals came right back, got it down to 2. Unfortunately, then, you know, Totino really got the win behind their wings, and, you know, an 18-2 run, and Cardinals just didn't have time to try and dig out of that hole. But, you know, you put yourself up against the best. You have a lot of positives to take away from parts of both of those games. You know that, you know, if you need to be able to put it together for 36 minutes. You do. But you know that you have the capabilities to play with some of the best teams.
They do. And I was talking to Coach O, and he says he just loves the fight on this team. And these guys come to play, and you can't keep them out of the gym. They're all gym rats, and they love to be able to shoot the basketball. And this is a team that plays well together.
Well, they will be at Rogers on Thursday. They will host Elk River next Tuesday.
Well, the girls' basketball team was at Anoka last Wednesday, facing the Tornadoes and looking for a little revenge. The Cardinals lost to Anoka in their first game back after COVID pause. Now a little more rhythm. They were hoping that they could turn the tide. It was a tight one from the opening tip and stayed that way until the final buzzer. Early on, Coon Rapids in the lead and taking advantage of the long rebound. They go back inside to Ella Georgie. She turns and scores and makes it 8-2. The Tornadoes able to answer with a run that puts them back in front. Evan Eppinga hits a three-pointer that makes it 11-9 Anoka. This one is back and forth in the first. Benny Kalala has an open look from the left wing. She buries a three. Still, the Tornadoes lead by 1 at the break. The Cardinals try to use their size advantage underneath in the second. Jenny Ntombwe turns and scores in the paint. She finished with 11 against Anoka. Midway through the second, Cards down by 1, and Ntombwe finds Kalala on the wing. She hits another three. She also had 11 on Wednesday. Late in the game, Anoka up by 4. Samantha Mugangi fires from long range, gets some help from the rim. As you can see there, she's going to fire from out front. That's going to help Anoka hold on for the 45-40 win. Tough loss for the girls.
Well, and on Friday, they hosted the Champlin Park Rebels. Cardinals had their best first half of the season so far. They actually led at the half, but they came up short against the Rebels, 65-57. And then on Tuesday against Totino, they just don't. We don't even really want to talk about that one. That's one they want to forget about. They lost their composure early, never able to get it back. So that one they'll just forget about. And they will host Rogers on Thursday. And Howie,
we'll be there.
And they will be at Elk River on Tuesday. Well, before we go tonight, we want to give some recognition to another Coon Rapids team that is turning heads and wheels. The robotics team may not be a sports club per se, but they do compete, and what they do is pretty darned impressive. We caught up with them on Tuesday when they were running their robot through its paces. This is the third year they have competed in FIRST Robotics, a worldwide competition with more than 4,000 teams from 39 different countries. In year one, they made it to Worlds in Detroit. And after last year's competitions were scrapped due to COVID, the Cardinals are looking to get back among the best in 2021. This year, the robot has a couple of challenges. It has to be able to shoot balls through holes from different ranges. How about the half-court shot? Nothing but net.
Nice. Better
Sign
than
it
Shapiro.
up. It can take Howie's spot next time he's asked to try to hit from the half-court line. It didn't hurt itself.
No.
There are also 4 different obstacle courses, one that a person will drive the robot through, and the other 3, the robot is programmed to go through the course on its own. It's pretty impressive what these kids are able to do, and we're wishing them well as they show the world what it means to be one team at CR.
That's impressive. I love that fact that we get to be able to show that because, you know, typically you don't have that here on Sports Night. And I'll tell you what, I'm signing that robot up for my 3-point.
I was just going to say, next time they ask you can call it out of the bullpen.
I've already reached out to its agent. I've got it in the books. I'm ready to go.
Well, here's what we have coming up for you. Girls basketball on Thursday against Rogers. We'll have wrestling live stream on Saturday, and we'll have boys hockey on Saturday against the Anoka Tornadoes. On Tuesday against the Anoka Tornadoes. But that is going to do it for this edition of CTN Sports Night. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN for the entire crew, including the interim director, Josh Udvik, and the one and only Howie Shapiro. I'm Joe Young. Saying good night.